On behalf of the entire youth and family ministry, we would like to wish you a Happy Mother's Day!
Happy Mother's Day!
Happy Mother's Day!
Happy Mom!
Yay. Welcome to the Mother's Day service.
Hello, hello.
This is Anna Quintana. I'm Newsom Holmes. This is David Johnson's backyard. Can you imagine? Jane and David do such a great job with their garden. We thought we would film from there. And so I just want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And I want to ask you, Anna, what's it like at this time to be a mother? You have 3 beautiful children, and how is it for you?
Well, before I say anything, let me just say thank you for taking me outdoors today. It feels really wonderful being outdoors, and such a beautiful garden. So David and Jane, thank you so much. So to that question, Newsom, I'm really enjoying being home with my 3 kids. They're already grown, but it's just a precious time to bond and to share and to laugh together and to eat together. Made me realize that now Clarice will be 21 soon, twins will be 18, and then this is probably the last time that I will actually be with them for this period of time. So there's only gratitude in my heart for this opportunity of sharing this way. So there's always another side to the coin, right?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think it is a beautiful time. If no one's ill or anything like that, you do have more quiet, more intimacy, more forced, almost being together. And if it's working, it's tremendous. And so I'm happy for you.
Thank you so much, and I wish all the mothers in the world and all the children, because we all have a mother, right?
Yeah, that's true. We all have a mother. I want to say today we also want to honor the youth. They are doing their own thing. They connect by video several times a week. If your kids are out there looking for a way to connect, you can check in through our website and do that. And I also want to just say thank you to David Johnson and to Yesenia. They have put together all the things you have seen with Anna and me, and because of that, we have a sense of connection as a community. So I send a shout out to them. But to start our service, let's begin with music.
Every praise is to our God. Every word of worship with one accord. Every praise to our God. Every praise is to our God. Every worship with one accord. Every praise to our God. Sing hallelujah.
We'd like to share with you a really special reading that I've read it before during Mother's Day, but it just feels so poignant to be able to share this with you as it opened my heart. So to all the mothers of our congregation, and even those who might not have biological children but have served as role models or might have mothered projects or initiatives, to all of you, thank you. And even to the men, we honor the divine feminine in you. So the reading, it's about a conversation between God and a newborn, and it starts like this. A baby asks God, they tell me you're sending me to earth tomorrow, but how am I going to live there being so small and helpless? And God said, your angel will be waiting for you and will take care of you. The child further inquired, but tell me, here in heaven I don't have to do anything but sing, smile, and be happy. And God said, your angel will sing for you and will also smile for you. And you will feel your angel's love and be very happy. Again, the small child asked, and how am I going to be able to understand when people talk to me if I don't know the language? And God said, your angel will tell you the most beautiful and sweet words you will ever hear. And with much patience and care, your angel will teach you how to speak. And what am I going to do when I want to talk to you? And God said, your angel will place your hands together and will teach you how to pray. And God said, and the baby said, who will protect me, God? And God responded, your angel will defend you, even if it means risking its life. But I will always be sad because I will not see you anymore, God, the baby said. And then God responded, your angel will always talk to you about me and will teach you the way to come back to me, even though I will always be next to you. At that moment, there was much peace in heaven, but voices from earth could be heard, and the child hurriedly asked, God, if I'm going to leave now, please tell me my angel's name. And God responded and said, you will simply call her Mom. Namaste.
In the time of Jesus, there was a lot of suffering. It seemed like the coronavirus would be hardly anything, given how difficult life was at the time. And one of the things that you hear when you listen to the New Testament is essentially that Jesus must have had a profound relationship with his mother. In the Gospels, the first story in the Gospels, and probably the first Gospel was the Gospel of Mark. It opens with Jesus and his mother at the wedding of Cana. And his mother is talking to him and telling him what to do. And we assume at this time he's in his mid-30s. So as a nice Jewish son, he has to deal with his mother right up to his 30s. And this relationship with his mother continues throughout the experience of the Gospels and ends in the Gospel of John, which was the last Gospel written, with Jesus saying to his favorite disciple, whom we assume to be John, behold your mother, and mother, behold your son. And this brackets essentially the whole of the New Testament, the whole story of Jesus. So Jesus is this expression of the divine who has an intimate relationship with his mother. I think if we are honoring mothers today, we would realize that mothers hold a particular intermediary aspect of the divine and the human. They bring us into life like gods or goddesses, and they protect us and take care of us in a very human way. And if you think about all the times they have changed your diapers or fed you, they're very earthly in that sense as well. So we have with the mother, we have both the divine and the human coming together to form that feminine, that presence of protection, love, and care that we think of as the divine also. We think of this earthly mother being a great representative of the divine. Because when we talk of God, we speak of God as taking care of us, setting it up for us, giving us all we need, being a constant loving presence for us. It is really another mother-child relationship. Of course, it's an ideal mother-child relationship, and many of us didn't have mothers that we remember as divine. But all we really have to do is remember that she wasn't perfect for us. She did so much for us just by bringing us into life, just by feeding us, taking care of us, by being there, if imperfectly, being there for us in so many ways. Our mothers have made life possible on this earth. They are indeed the divine made manifest. And so on this day, let's honor the divine made manifest. Let's honor our mothers and remember them with kindness and love. I was reminded in trying to prepare for this talk that there are some mothers who are ill and the children cannot get to them because of this quarantine that we're all going through. And I find that this separation of the child and the mother by almost artificial means now, not being there in their most difficult times, and mothers not being there for their children in their most difficult times, is a very strained relationship, so unusual, because the natural tendency for both mothers and children is to turn to each other in times of stress. So it's often heard that men on the battlefield, when they are suffering and close to death, will call out for their mother. We have a lifelong relationship with our mother, even if we don't see her for decades. It stays with us. And our hearts are essentially the first understanding of how to be a person who loves, a person who can act in the world out of kindness and respect. It comes from our mother. Our mothers are the first ones who teach us how to nurture and take care of someone in a physical way, by feeding them, by supporting them, by holding them, carrying them, whatever was necessary. Our mothers provided that for us. And so we, in many ways, can say, quite honestly, we are the person we are because our mother was the person she was. It's a big job being a mother. It's a very big job. It's not a job for the weak of heart or for the faint. It is somewhat requires enormous amount of effort. And to the lucky mothers, it comes naturally. Some mothers, it doesn't come so naturally, but to the lucky ones, they pour it out and they cannot help themselves. They are drawn by something deeper inside of them than conditioning. It is native to who they are. They are born to be mothers. They love with all their heart. They give with all their strength. They look after you. They think of you. They're with you all the time. Other mothers, it's more of a challenge to figure out how to be that person that you need them to be. And so many of us have remembered our mothers with too much emphasis, I think, on their flaws, on the things that have kept us from being completely open-hearted to them. And if we are one of those people, I dare say probably the best gift you can give to yourself and to your mother, whether she's living or not, is to forgive her. To forgive the things that did not come naturally to her, that were a challenge and that needed expression in a grander way than came comfortably to them. Let's just cut our mothers a little bit of slack. And remember that if she didn't do everything perfectly, if she didn't do enough, you would not be here today. So our mothers are really the anchor, the very first anchor that brings us into the world and brings us to a deeper understanding of how to be in this world. Fathers are important, other caretakers are important, but typically it's the mother who is the most important. and the one that we rely on as a child, as an adolescent, often as an adult, to bring us comfort and security, and sometimes even to bring us food. So we need to really honor this. This is fundamental to honoring who you are, to honor the mother that you were born and raised by. This is, if you honor this, as it says in the Old Testament, honor your father and mother. The thing is, without this honoring of the mother, it's hard to establish the baseline of love and kindness. And loving kindness seems to be the baseline for happiness, the baseline for fulfillment, the baseline for extended relationships of marriage, friendship, etc. These practices or habits that we've gotten from our mother, these are the things that we can build on to create a world in which we experience more than just our own self, but extend our care and concern out into the world around us. And as we extend our care out into the world around us then can reflect it back to us. So loving relationships often are very reflective of the relationship we've had with our mother. And if we, like I said, have something we're holding against her, then it's time for us to forgive, because we will not be better in our intimate relationships than we can be with our relationship with our mother. I think one of the things they tell us in the South to young boys is, if you want to know the woman you're dating, what she's going to be like in 20 years, just look at her mother. And I believe, as I look in the mirror, I can tell you for sure that when I look in the mirror, I begin to see more and more of my father. It can only be true that the woman has the same experience. Who we are in relationship to our mother is a template for who we are in a relationship to the world. And one thing I'd like to say about the world, one of the things we've noticed is, as the world has shut down much of its commerce and moving around, that the world's air has gotten cleaner, the water is better, the sound level is lower, the sense of quiet in the world is better. There's a sense that something might be healing in the natural environment. One of the things I've been noticing as I sit in front of the TV more and watch the public broadcasting channels is they've had several specials about the state of the world. And one of the relationships we as human beings have been rather abusive about is our relationship to Mother Earth. Just recently I saw a program, it was about water, and so I was fascinated because it's one of my favorite subjects, water, but they were talking about the oceans at one point. And they were noticing that the oysters were not reproducing. They were not reproducing, they found out, in the ocean water because the ocean water had become too acidic for the shells of the oysters to form. So the oysters came in as little fry, they were little tiny things swimming around, but when they went to build their shells, it didn't work. And so the oyster would not be created. So they figured it out finally that it was the ocean water itself that was too acidic. And being too acidic, it would mean that all creatures who form shells in the ocean would have a harder time doing it. And it turns out that the baseline of all life on maybe not all life, but so much of sea life is based on plankton, and plankton have little shells. So even at the very most basic, when the water gets too acidic, it becomes difficult for life to form and to thrive. And so up the food chain, we would be deprived of ever more of the species that we have come to depend on from the ocean, if we cannot get little shells to form on the small creatures. This made me really sad in a certain sense. I mean, anxious, kind of like, I need to do something about this. It seems to me that we all need to do something about this. The reason this sea is becoming acidic is because there's so much carbon in the atmosphere, and the sea is absorbing the carbon, and that carbon becomes acidic in the water. It forms an acid. So here's a poignant, to use one of Anra's favorite words, a poignant reminder that we have a relationship with the divine of honor and respect and love, but we also have a relationship with the mundane to honor, respect, and love that. And just as we have, as a society, decided that we are the center of the universe, and it really depends mostly on us and the growing expansion of the economy, that has become the focus, and to that end we have neglected, even abused, the natural world. I think it's time for us to have a healing now. One of my hopes is, in this time of coronavirus, is that we become more kind and gentle as a people, as a nation, as a world. We become more understanding that this is a totality, this life that lives on earth, both the human and the animal and the plant. We're all interrelated. And as one goes, so the chain goes out. As we heal one, then the chain is strengthened by it. The bond of our relationship to not only our mother, human mother, but to our planet mother, to our Mother Earth, this is the most precious, the formative relationship we have with everything. And it turns out, when you really break it down, if it's Mother Earth or mother of our family and of our bodies, if we don't have a good relationship there, how can we expect to thrive, to be happy, to be prosperous, to be loving, to be expansive, to be more than just an existence? We can only do it if we expand our ability to love and to take care of, to nurture, to deepen our relationship, to come to understand, to be kind, to be thoughtful, to be a loving son or daughter. That is what we're being called to do. And I think if we can take this time when we have more time than usual to reflect, more time to do with actually less, probably less going, less buying, less needing, less expending of energy. If this time can be used to reflect, not only on that we need less, but that we might be more deeply connected, if we can use this time for that, then I think this time of isolation will be well worth it. I'm reminded of monks who deliberately leave the world, go into isolation so that they might deepen their own being, might come to know the natural world, but also the depth of their own being by being more isolated. I think that's what this is offering. And one of the primary relationships we need to look at is our relationship with our mother, both the earth mother and our biological mother, or our adoptive mother, or whomever it was that was your caretaker. We can spend more time in gratitude and love for that person and for this planet. I think we will do better. I think we'll walk out of this time of isolation and move into a world that is more like the mother's womb, more like the hug of a divine parent, more like the hug of your own parent, where you feel like you belong, where you feel like you are loved just for who you are. And it is natural for you to return the favor, to treat with respect and honor and love that which has brought you life and sustains you here. Our being on this planet is so interwoven with everything else that's on this planet. We are so deeply touched, whether we know it or not, by all that is happening to every form of life here. It somehow, some way, through the energy or through the ecosystem, we are all connected. And I hope that when I leave this time of being isolated and go back into so-called normal world, that I will go back with a more tender heart, a more compassionate way of being, and a more responsible one. And that being a responsible child of this world, I might be kinder to the world and treat my neighbor, my world, and the memory of my mother with much more reverence and respect. And in so doing, deepen myself into a place where I feel at home, I feel loved, and I feel precious just for being who I am. I hope that works for you as well. So I hope that is your experience when you leave. Your time of being alone and move into the world. I hope your world becomes a world of love, care, and respect. Let us pray. As we deepen into this thought that we are not alone, but loved, cherished, and important, not only to the planet and to our mother, but to the unfolding spirit that is humanity. We are important. How we think and move and feel affects the whole. So let us deepen into that. Let our hearts open. Let our minds be generous and kind. If there's something that needs to be forgiven, let us do that. If it's something that needs to be prayed for, let us do that. But let us bring ourselves with all our kindness and compassion into this world, into our family relationships, to our friends, and to the way we speak to ourselves. And let that be the most powerful, consistent, overwhelmingly true experience of how we are in the world. And so it is, with grace and ease. And so it is. Amen.
A spiritual community is all about connections, connections with the divine and connections with each other. Your prayer ministry is continuing to connect with you and supports you in a variety of ways, by phone calls, by emails, by Zoom meetings, and by prayer and meditation that we've recorded. And we've also connecting with you on SoundCloud and Facebook. As we shelter in place, or as Ellen Grace O'Brien says, shelter in grace, many of you have expressed that this is the time and an opportunity to go deeper into spirit. It's the time to go intentionally and live intentionally in this place of solitude and contemplation and prayer and meditation. We are here to spiritually companion you on that journey. Join me every Thursday at 5 minutes before noon for a guided meditation that lasts for about 15 minutes. We record it and post it on SoundCloud and Facebook. Send your prayer requests to us so that we can hold those prayers in our hearts, and the prayer ministry can hold them for you. See the number at the bottom of the screen and the email to send in your requests. So now, those prayer requests that come to us come into this prayer box. So now let's open our hearts, soften our gaze, and connect heart to heart with all of humanity and the desires of their hearts. Envision every prayer intention and every individual enfolded in a bubble of brilliant light. This is a powerful prayer. Hold this image in the depths of your being for a moment of silence.
What a mess here. What a mess. Neusom and Anna made stomps all over my yard here. I can't believe this. Oh, hello everybody. It's a pleasure to see you on this Mother's Day. Thanks for kidding along with us to think that we are actually in front of a yard. Thanks definitely for thinking this might have been my yard back here. Maybe if we can manifest that in the future. I'm part of a big team, I guess, that's helping to bring you a lot of different things, and it's such a joy to be able to do that, to be reminded of how we're all still part of our strong spiritual community, and all of it's made possible because of your generous contributions. Just like Neusom's talking about a mother who just symbolizes love and comfort and compassion, we'd like to think that our community itself stands for those same things, and that's what we all come for, and to share the connections between us. Thank you so much for enabling us to continue that, and we certainly appreciate your continued support into the future. So if you will, take your gifts in your hands or in your hearts, and with me say or think, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, and I look forward so much to seeing you very soon. And please come and help me clean up all this mess in the yard.
bum.
Thank you, David. That was awesome. I was missing really your sense of humor, so thank you for showing up. Love your talk,
Thank you.
Neusom, like always, beautiful. And then we'd like to let everybody know that we are creating an additional meditation that you can click in here if you're on the website, or if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can go to our website and listen to a weekly meditation of 10 minutes if you want to like enhance your Sunday experience, or during the week we are creating some special something to keep you going during the week. What else do we have coming up?
So next week we are going to start a mini series, a 3 Sunday series on the heart. Essentially, we're going to invite you to become part of Heart Math's free class that they're offering. You go to their website, heartmath.com, and then you can download their class. I'll start talking about this next week, and we will continue it for 2 more weeks. I hope you'll do that. It will be a good way of embodying this sense of being the heart, the love that you wish to see in the world. That's what this is about. And I just want to say Happy Mother's Day one more time. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, to all the women. May we celebrate your feminine and your love. And I want to also invite you to David's backyard for mimosas after this is over.
See you next week. God
Happy
bless.
Mother's Day.
The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
And the presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Happy Sunday, everybody. We hope you've enjoyed today's Sunday service. We miss you and we miss seeing your smiling faces. And because of that, we've created Cyber Fellowship Time, which, by the way, starts right now. So if you're watching this on our Facebook page, click on the link to our Zoom chat, which is going to be popping up right around now on the comment section here. If you're watching this on our website, click on the link below this box here. Grab your cup of coffee, your lunch, or both, and head on over. We look forward to seeing you in just a bit.